house rules.
All right, let me just wait for it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's session. I see we are a little small class, but I think it's going to be great for everything we need to discuss today. So we only have a few small house rules. The only one I think that we're going to have for today is just to ask you to please mute your cameras to save data and bandwidth. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or use the chat area. Then over to you, Dr. House.
Thank you very much. I'm just trying to get, there we go. I've got to close all my screens before I just make everything available, because it feels like I just open everything and then show everything. So yes, so welcome. This is the fourth unit. As you can notice, the team is dispersed because Cabello and Tumelo are in Limpopo, moving tomorrow morning to Mpumalanga, and Anzani and Casper and myself are here, but I'm not even here. I'm at a conference. So hopefully, I don't know, does it ever calm down? But anyway, it's good. It's good to be here. So what we're going to do today is, and for the benefit of those who are just watching this recording, I would really recommend that you watch all three previous sessions, because what we're doing today is how do you pull everything together? How do you make it that a team competes at a competition? A lot of the theory we've kind of now watched in the video, some of the videos, and it's about debugging and making it that everything pulls together, that the team actually has a fun interaction at a competition. And so for the first, usually for the first competition, we really focus on having a whole lot of fun. The team was in Limpopo at was it August? Well, August, and then in KZN in September. And the whole focus of those celebration events was really to have a great event. But unfortunately, there are some things that we can address before the teams come to a competition. And so that's the purpose of these 4 sessions, is to kind of highlight those sessions or those issues that we've picked up. So I've got a short presentation, and then I'm going to open it for discussion, because there's a lot that maybe I've missed, but we can discuss it. So let's quickly just share my screen as usual. Here we go. All right, here we go. And just confirmation that you can see my slides.
Coming? Yes, I can see.
Excellent. Okay, here we go. All right. All right, so we're on to the first Lego League, and we're really onto the competition part of it. And how do you then bring a team? This is like the final presentation. It's like the final countdown, and what any coach can tell you is the final countdown consists of all these different parts that have got to kind of play together. And if you look at your team meeting guide or your engineering notebook, you'll also see there's different streams, but everything needs to come together for a competition. Okay, so just for reference purposes, this is a live online learning session, and we've got our email address up there, and Tumelo and Anzani are kind of right there answering all your questions. And we also have MOOCs available, and if you need any information, please don't hesitate to contact us. So what all these sessions are about is really to equip robotics coaches as part of this online community of practice. Yes, we'll have recordings, and you can ask as many questions as you like. All right, so the theme is superpowered, and just in case you missed one of the sessions, the robot really must do the missions. All right, the robot must do the missions, but not all the missions, and also not in any particular order. So what we were discussing in I think it was the second session when we started unpacking it, was the learners need to look at all the missions and say, which missions do they think they can do, and for what score. Okay, so you must get the score, and you've got to do you've got to fit all your missions in total into 150 seconds. And then I'll just kind of link it where the research comes in. There is a project that the team must do in terms of research, but you use the missions maybe as think triggers to think, okay, maybe that is a problem we can research. So that's the link between the project and the missions. It's on a same theme, but your research does not need to include a robot or anything like that. And it doesn't have to impact one of the missions, but it must be on one of the journeys, one of the 4 journeys that are identified. Okay, so here's the final, and you'll be very happy to know on page 34 in your team meeting guide, dear coaches, you have got a little checkpoint, and sometimes it's good to kind of reflect on these final checkpoints before you get to the competition, but that you are really well prepared. Okay, so you can just tick the boxes. Maybe you can add some notes there, but really, oh yes, I maybe just want to say something. The Global Innovation Award, I'm going to say that something at the end, but the research is also important. Okay, so it's not just about the robot. It's not just about building and programming a robot or getting the highest score. There are other things that are also important, and the research and the teamwork is also important. All right, so there's your tick points. What I did want to bring your attention to is that there are all the judging and event resources. So you'll get your rubrics in there. And maybe this is just preempting it, but after all your robots, after all events have been done, don't take apart the robot and the mission models too soon. Don't do that. Maybe just leave that as part and let the team reflect and kind of ask, is there anything maybe you would like to, or missions you would still like to do? But the most important for me is that there must always be a team celebration. So whether you go from the competition and you go and have ice cream, or you just sit around a chocolate cake, or you, I don't know, you go, whatever your celebration is, milkshakes are also fine, but there needs to be a celebration. There needs to be an acknowledgement of the hard work that has gone into any competition. All right. A really good thing would be to get a journalist in, and in your local newspaper, have a picture and some photographs, and then last but not least, you as a coach will decide whether you want to discuss the rubric scores, or whether you just want to give feedback. It's got to be a constructive experience. Okay, and so you have some time now before the competition to go through the rubrics and decide we've met all the requirements, and really to focus on having the fun. Okay, so just in perspective, there's your core values, which is your teamwork, and there's the robot design, the robot game, and then you've got your project. So really, the robot match is the game, but the robot game is really impacted by the robot design. So you'll discuss your robot design in your technical interview, and I'll get to that just now. But really, everything you do in preparation for the robot game is your evidence that you need and put together when you discuss your robot design. Okay, you've got to tell the judges how you tested it. You've got to show them the score sheets of how you went along. You've got to tell them how you designed your robot. You've got to tell them about the changes in design. You've got to tell them about the changes in the programming, because for one moment, I don't believe that the programming is a once-off thing. All right, so the robot design is your building and your programming, and look, there is strategy. There must be some strategy. You can't just say go cold turkey and say, well, we just decided this mission and that mission and the other mission. There has to be some strategy. There has to be some thought involved in how you designed your robot, and then why, because that impacted on your robot game. All right, you have 3 matches, and you've got to make each of the matches count. Sometimes you'll get a very high score on the second round, and your team might want to try a really cool move in your last round when you've got nothing to lose. That is a team decision. Okay, that is always a team decision. Yeah, and just about robot game on the day of the competition, the team, and not the coach, the team has to sign the form for the scoring. All right, your team must know their rules, and your team must know the scoring. Please, as coaches, do not interfere. That is your robot team's prerogative. They must sign the form and they must accept the score. And once the team have walked off the stage, that's it. All right. It's about ownership. All right. Okay, so the journey of the team, I actually was going to get another picture, but then I thought it's maybe not, there is nothing else about it. Okay, so here's your design, your robot, and you create your robot solution, and you do your robot rounds, and you program your robot rounds. But in the same kind of, in parallel to that, you've got the project going, and you're going to have your innovative solution. And so this is where we are now, where we have to kind of put everything together. We have to put our research together. We've got to put all our different programs. We've got to put it together in one strategy. And so this is where and it's usually the last 4 sessions. So 4 sessions are for the initial investigations. 4 sessions is designing each of the individual solutions. And then 4 sessions is really bringing it all together to have a final solution. And you need to iterate that lots of times. Okay. All right, so that's what I just said. So this is our mat. The left launch area, the right launch area, the little dinosaur. No, that's the big dinosaur, and the little dinosaurs in the toy factory. But really, the 4 sessions, the first 4 sessions is all your initial work, and keep documents of that. All right. And the next 4 sessions are when you divide into groups, and each group does a program or an attachment, and you kind of moving into your solution, and you share that. And then for the last 4 sessions, that's when your strategy comes. And you've got to put everything together. You've got to practice your presentation. You've got to practice running robots, that when the robot comes in, you take the attachment off, you turn it around, put another attachment on, and then you go out. That's exactly what you have to do. And practice it, and have somebody to time it, and have somebody to score it. Even if you get a parent in to be the team local referee, but you need to have some evidence. All right. So I found this picture, and I thought, this is how you feel when you get to sessions 9 to 12. And every year we say, oh my word, we don't have enough time, we're just not finishing. No, I needed that's the best I could find. But passion never fails, and coffee breaks, lots of coffee breaks. Yeah, be happy, today is your day. I think there's lots of other words we can use on that, but really, so we've done the yellow part, we've done the get started part, we've done the discussing, we've done the kind of investigation side, we've done all the development, we've done all the programs, we've done all the attachments, we've done all the parts of the research, and really today is about this green part, this consolidating. And you want to consolidate well, without losing your sense of humor, please, because you've got to put it all together, so that A, the research fits into the 5 minutes, and B, the robot can score optimal points in 150 seconds, 2.5 minutes. And that's where we are. So that's the last part of it. And I know, Eric, you mentioned, I think the day before yesterday, it's like a lot of work. Or was it today? I can't think. But it is really, if you can divide and conquer and get everybody to work together to make the list of things that need to happen, it'll be there, but you need to put it all together. All right. I just like the colorfulness of this picture. Anyway. All right. So just for those who've maybe missed some of the sessions, the first part is really about reading and selecting from the robot missions rule book and allocating the missions to groups. And then you build your team, one team, one robot. And then you start building the group mission the attachment that must go onto the robot, and you program that mission. And then, as I said earlier, we have a time score for every single little mission that's got to go out. We've got a time score and a time and scoring score sheet. Okay, so the middle part was up until yesterday, where we started consolidating into a team strategy. And there has to be an order. Okay, so which group goes first with that mission? And then we're going to go across the field. And then this team is going to do that mission. And then this team over here is going, technicians are going to do this, and then they're going to go across, and there's your 150 seconds done. Okay, so what we're doing today is we're really fine-tuning it. Okay, a mission is only perfect, reliable, the word is reliable, if it can do 3 times. 3 times exactly the same, starts in the same place, ends in the same place, has the same score, and has the same time. Okay. From beginning to end. All right. So I kind of asked around, and I thought, when we consolidate the programs, what checkpoints do we have? So this is the list that the team came up with. Firstly, back up all the programs. Oh my goodness. Have all your programs every day backed up, either on a flash drive or on an external hard drive or something, but label them well and just keep them as a backup. Okay. Then before the competition, I would definitely urge you to clear the brain. Take all those test programs off, clear it properly. And for EV3, you put the programs in order of execution, just so that it's easier. There is another way of doing it where you put it onto the buttons, and maybe I'll explain that to you if anybody needs to know how to do that. But for now, just have each of the programs put onto the brain, and then nothing else, please. It just makes it for the teams. They don't do like, on the screen. For Spike, the number them in the order of execution, because you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4. But put the programs also in that order and then rename them. Okay, but just be careful you don't overwrite a stunning program. I put this in brackets. And I don't know what the title is. It's like a match manager or somebody who has a loud voice, and let them have a clipboard with a list of the programs and the missions. All right. And they must be permanently shouting out, we're going to do mission 1 now. You've got to start like this. But they must just be on it. So they have a list, and you can double check. Don't think that the learners will remember all the details when they're standing up on stage trying to make a robot work. And if they have one catastrophe, they might just kind of lose their focus. Also, you can probably have it as program 20 or whatever the highest program number is. It's just return to base. And so it'll just take the robot and it will reverse it into either of those side areas next to the launch areas, the home areas. So you don't have to, because once you pick up your robot and you take it back to base, you get penalties and you're losing valuable points. We don't want to lose points unnecessarily. So if you have anything and it doesn't work, then maybe just have a back to base kind of program. But you'll see when it becomes kind of necessary. All right. The last thing is you really need to practice how the missions are synchronized in a match. Okay, so if you have a team here and a team on that side, and this team, the robot goes out, and as it comes in, they take this attachment off, and this group of technicians puts their attachment on and starts the robot, and it does it, and it comes back, and they can take this attachment off and put another attachment on and make it go across like that. And there's this team. That is all part of a changeover, but a synchronized approach for teamwork, vital. Okay, and you only have 3 matches, and you really want the team to score the optimal points and not lose it because of I don't know, not inaccuracies, but just unnecessarily. All right. I don't know how you're going to install this in your students or your learners, but it is. We did it. We kind of instilled it whilst we were practicing. Okay, so whilst we were busy practicing, number one, we talk nicely to each other at all times. Okay, whatever happens, that's what happened, and we deal with it in a civil and nice manner. So first of all, how you talk to each other, even in stressful situations. The other part of it is you do need to change over and put it down, and change over and put it down, and change over and put it down. That whole thing needs to be timed. All right. Nicely. We need to speak nicely. All right. I don't know whether you found it, but there is in the game rule book, there's a score sheet, and it looks like this. I think I'll have to ask Sylvia or Casper. I think there is an app as well that they play on their phone to score their robot. But this is a good piece of evidence. So print out one for every session that you have, and then you can tick it off, and then you can score your robot. It just adds for good evidence collecting. Okay, and then you can see how your robot performs. Okay, a good one to have, and also a good one that the teams start learning the names of the missions. Okay, watch television is really easy, and wind turbine is probably easy, and the dinosaur toy is probably easy, but it's not always that obvious. All right, so a lot of prints of these. You can put them two together on a page if you have to, but are good to keep a score record. All right. Okay, so what we did notice, and now I'm going to just quickly just go over to this to the judging. So there's actually two major parts to the whole competition. The one is the robot games, and then you get a total of 4. You get 1 practice round and 3 actual rounds. That is the first part, or a part of it. The other part is the judging. Okay, and for the judging, the teams go into a single session with all the judges sitting around a table. So it's 3 project, 3 technical, and 3 core values. In the world of ideal volunteers, we don't always have that luxury. Sometimes we have fewer, but for this, that's the case. So you really have 2 minutes to be welcomed, but you only have 5 minutes to present your project. So practice your project presentation as well, and make sure. And I'll show you the PowerPoint that I'm going to show you now. You've got 5 minutes for questions. Then you've got to do the robot design. Okay. It's not the core values, it's not the project, it's the robot design. It's the actual robot that you use to run the robot rounds. Okay. And in your explanation, maybe get each member of the team. Then you can pass it along and say, this is the robot, it's got 2 wheels for traction. Then you pass it on. This is the robot, and it's got 2 motors with axles attached to the 2 wheels. And this is the attachment for this thing, and this is the attachment for that thing. And we've got gearing, and we've got sensors. And if you're going to have sensors, you must tell the judges why you've attached sensors and to what end. What is the purpose of it? Okay. And then there will be some questions. And if there is a robot table in the technical room, I think we're going to do it for regionals. I think there should be. Then your team will need to kind of show or demonstrate how the robot moves. And then you've got 3 minutes for core values presentation. It's not a presentation. Okay, it's not a presentation. The judges will just merely ask, so how do you gel as a team? As a team, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What was a fun highlighting of your season? What did you learn? Those kind of questions. And all the questions they're going to ask for the project, the questions they're going to ask for your robot design, and the kind of questions they're going to ask for core values, they are all in your rubrics, okay, as examples. There are example questions, okay? And then the judges will probably just give feedback in about 5 minutes, and then you will leave the room. The team will leave the room, and then there'll be 10 minutes for judges' deliberations, okay? So the question I often get is, can the coach go in with the team? All right. So here's the thing. You can go in with your team, but you must sit right at the back, and you have no eye contact with your team, and you're not allowed to contribute anything. All right. This is your team's moment. You have coached them to the door of the judging room, and then they are on their own. Okay, and it's very distinct. Previously, we used to have a core values presentation, and we used to have and everything was mixed up. It's not anymore. It's very, very specific. Give me your project in 5 minutes. Give me your robot design in 5 minutes, and then you'll get some question asked about your core values. But the core values judges have been watching you whilst you present your robot and whilst you present your project. All right. Okay, I like this. Don't you just like this picture? So this is your technical presentation. All right. Go and look on the rubrics. I know we've got some teams that are class pack, so that's what your rubric looks like. Otherwise, there's a separate rubric for each of the sections. But go and see the kind of questions. There is this gracious professionalism, and very few teams actually knew about gracious professionalism. And it is really about how you respect yourself, the members in your team, and the members of other teams, professionally, graciously, friendly, respectful at all times. Okay. Yeah. So, and what I wanted to say here is there's the rubrics. Okay. So not all judges wear a t-shirt that says I'm a judge. All right. Some of the judges are a little bit more undercover, and they will come around and ask you questions. And so if you're sitting at the table, you know, and not answering, there's no innovation there, no excitement there. If you are sitting, oh, and I'll just tell you another thing. Please, no gum, no chewing gum in the judging rooms. And yeah, and another thing, maybe just get your teams not to kind of stand around and stare at the ceiling when when somebody else is talking, and then they show they're definitely bored. They need to stand close to each other, and they need to all participate. They're only there for 20 minutes. For 20 minutes, they must be one. All right. Not staring at the ceiling and looking around and then, you know, shuffling and chewing gum is not. All right. They've got to be one coherent team. Yeah. If they've all got, say, the same color t-shirt on, or the same color hat on, or they've got badges on, that'll be great. Okay. Then about the research presentation, somebody asked me for the 16-slide poster. And so this is, I think I've shown some, I think I have shown some pictures of what the poster looks like, but I'll maybe add that. I think Mariska posted it on the group. So if you have slide 1 and 2 about the team and the problem, okay, so 1 is the team, this is team team 2, slide 2 is the problem is, okay, and then say slide 3 and 4 would show existing solutions, 5 and 6 would be the team solution, 7 is where is your innovation, slide 8 would be who are the people, who are your experts, and then it's probably 8 and 9. I see I'm missing a 9 here. 10 is your references. Name the sources. Do not say my laptop and the internet and my teacher. No. You've got to be more, or YouTube videos. No, you've got to tell me exactly which YouTube videos you watched. So if I ask you, tell me about the YouTube video, you can actually interrogate it. Please don't let learners just be vague like that. It's not flying. All right. And the 11, costing your solution, and be realistic. Don't just say it cost R1 million, because where did you thumbsuck that out of? There needs to be a cost breakdown and say, well, our cost breakdown is we need piping, and it's going to cost at Builders Warehouse, it's R5.99 a meter, and we need wire, and it's R6.45 a meter, and we think we need 2 meters, so that's how we're going to get that. Then share your actual solution. If you have a model of it, you get a photo, and then 13 to 15 is you have to evaluate it. And I recommend a Google form. So you ask you present it to your experts, and they must evaluate it and say what they think about it. You can also ask somebody just to evaluate it, maybe a parent, if they're experts in the field. Okay, and then it's just nice to have like future plans. What are we going to do with this? We would like to see it installed in everybody's house. It'd be really cool if a whole neighborhood can have a party with our solar pizza huts, pizza ovens or something like that. But that's kind of the layout. And then if you put your 16 PowerPoint presentation pages, you put it 4 across and 4 down, and you can fold it like that. So it's 4 columns. All right. There's some really good presentation how to present your projects here. But there's also in that multimedia guide, there are some really amazing links that you can use there, how to present. Okay, this is how your project is going to be evaluated. And I think for new teams, we should at least be developing. So you must have a clear definition. There must be at least some research, some evidence of ideas across the team. So you can't, please, if they ask for the design, you can't have a team saying, no, it's actually his idea, or it's my teacher's idea and she told us. All right. There must be some innovative solution. And even a drawing or a picture or a model helps to go a long way. Okay. And then you've got to show us that you presented it to someone. Okay, so I wouldn't say just the school, but maybe get like the Rotary Club, or if it's a company, maybe you got them to the boardroom, or you got some experts to come to you. Then you've got some sharing of ideas, and then communicate. How do you communicate your ideas? So if you're all going to just stand around with your hands flapping and say no 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 no, doesn't really engaging. But if you can like step forward and put some drama in it, and you've got some props as well, it's got to be engaging. And you what you want is the judges to remember your presentation. There's a whole lot of ideas there. I think on that link, even if you just have hats, if some team members are a little bit more shy and they think they're going to forget their words, then give them a picture, a relevant picture, and they can write their words on the back. So that's my that's what we used to do. Also, if you get a team member that doesn't really want to talk, to answer questions, let that team member come in and say, good morning, we are the super duper team. Okay, then they've used up their words, and then they don't have to panic. They don't have to sit in the whole session wondering when they're going to have to ask a question. Then they've said their say, and they can just relax. All right, it needs to be fun, and so that's how we address that problem. Okay, so I'm going to just reinforce why do we do this? Okay, it's a real world issue. Superpowered is a real world issue. All right, and you need to talk to an expert. Don't let them just suck their thumb on perceptions. All right, they've got to talk to the experts. They've got to read the newspaper, read a magazine. They've got to ask the questions. And you'll also see in that multimedia book, there's a list of careers that are possible, and maybe get them engaging on that and say, of all these careers in superpower, where do you think you fit in? Which appeals to you? And maybe make that also part of the discussion. Yeah, this is a very loaded theme. I must just say there's a lot in this theme. All right. So this is part of the how, but there must be a linking in the thinking. Okay, so if you see something on the mission board, is there anything that's linked or thinking? Or you can say, well, I saw the hydroelectric, but in our town we don't have water, so I thought, how do we do this? And then if the learners can either write it or maybe make a note of it, but they must have exposure to the theme. Okay, and if you ask the experts the questions, the team must ask the questions. Now my research, I'm quite about this one. Please do not tell me you Googled and you have a laptop and you have a teacher. No. Collect data. Ask people their opinions, or collect the data. You know, how many hours of TV do you watch? How many people in your house need a shower every day, so that you can see how much energy you need. And a very good way to collect data is to say, what are your data? What are your energy usages in the team's homes? Where do we use most of our energy? Okay. On that, keep it real. I know there's some really cool ideas for energy. All right. But let your learners keep it real. Where do they see that they can use the energy? Where do they see how they can apply it? All right. Yeah. Okay. So what I really want to talk about here is about the researchers. Please don't dump the research on one team and say, well, I'm the builder and I built the program. I built the robot, and I'm the programmer and I program, and you can be the researcher. No. Everybody must have built something. I mean, that's why we divided in the beginning. Everybody needs to program something, and everybody needs to contribute something to the research. Okay. And it's linked to this thing of problem solving skills. Not everybody sees it the same way, but there needs to be some input of how you see the solution. Okay. Yeah, it's to improve the energy journey in your community. That's the challenge. Okay. And so I think a good start would be to say, in our home, we waste too much energy on whatever it is, or how can we consume less, or how can we, yeah, we have to ride a bicycle to generate the energy to watch television. You don't get the energy, you can't watch television. Something like that. All right. Just on that note, your team does need to tell us on which energy journey they are. Are they on the white one, which is the renewable, on the water, on the non-renewable, or something that is innovative? Okay, that is the orange, the grids and the super grids and things like that. And it's all defined there in your team meeting guides. Okay, but they must be aware of what the energy journeys are. All right. There's understanding the journey. Keep the focus. All right. Keep the focus. All the rubrics are available. And it shall, if you have any problems, you're welcome to make a call with me, and I will explain it to you as well. But you really need to keep the focus. And okay, I've spoke about the judging flow. Just one thing, at the regionals, each team gets a table. Okay, and on the table you can put your poster, and you can put all your bags, and you can put a tablecloth in, and you can bring flowers, and if your project's about water, you can bring a jug of water, and if your project's about the solar pizza oven, you can bring a pizza oven, and you can dish out pizza if you want to, and a model or something. But your table is usually your identity that you can decorate if you want to. Oh, you should. Okay, there's the projects. I've told you about the team meeting guide, I've told you about engineering notebook, and I've told you about the game rule book, and I've told you about the multimedia resource. And I come back, and I've just spoken at a conference, and I've done the why bother, and I really am inspired with the number of teachers that are taking up the why bother challenge. Our learners need research skills. There was an interesting talk at the graduation on Tuesday night, and they said we need to be able to discern between the truth and the untruth, and then the other fake news, call it for lack of a better word. Yeah, let's call it fake. And our learners need to be able to have the research skills to identify what is the truth and what is for real. Okay, and so this is where the research skills come in. But they also need to be able to solve a problem, so they need these 21st century skills. Yeah, and I would like to see the teams being confident and competent when they, like, this is our solution, and we've done our research, and we know what we're talking about, and that will be mission accomplished. All right, so understand the missions and the rules, build. So each team has one robot. All right, one robot, and the one robot has a chassis and then a whole lot of different attachments, and for each attachment there's a program to do one or two or more missions, like Casper was showing us, where you go out and do the television, and then you just go past and do the wind turbine. Then you've already got two missions together, and then you come back to base. All right, but focus on the journey. It's about a problem and the solutions, and it's ongoing. Okay. And now I'm going to stop chatting, and I'm going to say, are there any questions? Any questions? Yes, Angie.
Oh goodness, I have lots of questions.
Oh, good. Excellent.
I'll try and keep it to the bare minimum. The first thing is the energy journey.
Yes.
My kids' topic, I don't know if it's even valid with regards to the journey. Can a person literally do just how the energy is traveling from one point to another point and solving problems there, or does it have to be with regards to actually storing and generating energy, or is it very flexible? Because we're on the energy, how it gets to where it's going and what to do in problems like that.
Okay, so where does your energy come from?
Well, the energy is coming from all the sources, and the problem is when it gets disrupted, they're trying to prevent the disruptions.
But where is your actual energy coming from? Is it the ESCOM?
From the grids, basically.
So that's ESCOM energy.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so your source is ESCOM energy. Where is it stored?
Okay, that depends where they are. Okay.
Or just focus on it on one thing. Just say our energy comes from ESCOM, and it is stored in our, what you call it, power stations, and then we use it for that.
Okay. All right. Okay. We might have it all wrong, but it's okay. We have done homework whether it's right or wrong.
Lessons learned. Yes.
Yes, yeah. The other thing is, what did I want to ask? It was with the team interviews and that. We have to obviously let you guys know in advance that our team needs a bit, they're a bit more reserved. I don't know what the word is.
Yeah.
So with communication, if I'm in the room and they need assistance, will you indicate I must assist them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You are at the UNISA competition, hey?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So just send me the name of your team, and I will brief the judges in that room. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, because some of them stutter when they ask questions, and then they lose the plot completely when they put under pressure, and others, it's complicated.
No. We also want every team to have a good experience. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So if you tell me the judges should rather not sit behind the table but stand around, does that help?
No, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think the nerves, I don't know how they'll react under pressure, but they'll be fine. We'll we'll manage them. They should be okay. I just don't know how well they'll communicate, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to know is, will they email us times and the exact venues and that beforehand?
Yes.
Okay.
The schedule will go out. I think we've got 2 more teams coming in, so we'll probably close the registrations tomorrow, and then we'll generate a schedule. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then that's it for me.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. That was not too long, Angie.
Say again?
That list of questions wasn't that long.
No, I forgot all the others. I got so flustered. I can't read my handwriting.
So tell me, does your team have a war cry or a sing song that they have?
They just shout for their robots. Their robot's name is Wally. So I've heard it 101 million times already. Whenever he does a mission and they really want it to work, they start shouting at him.
Excellent. So, hey, that's us. Hey, that's us. Used to ask the DJ to play Mario because then the robot performed at its best.
Cute.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that, shall we? Yeah. No, and it's Angie, we just need to keep talking. And I really want your team to have a great day. They must leave there feeling really great.
Oh no, thanks. No, well, we've set them up in a way that we've said to them, look, they mustn't under any conditions think that they're going to win, but we think they can do so many points, and if he crashes, we're going to laugh and have fun about it. So we're trying, but I don't know how much of it actually sinks into what I'm telling them.
Where are you going to celebrate afterwards?
We haven't decided, but I actually thought we might just celebrate there at the venue. Seems as we have to be there anyways.
So our team always did McDonald's. Always.
Oh, okay. All right. No,
even Spanish McDonald's.
Cool. No, we'll chat to the folks and see where's best for everyone to get together.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else wants to add to this? Yes, Eric. Yes.
I've just got a question on the robots. And I was watching a video last night. Someone has come up with a very simple robot, just made with a basic Spike Prime.
Yes.
And what are you judged on that base, or you judge? Obviously, the attachments can be kind of unique, but the base model. Does it matter if you've come up with you've used somebody else's design, or do you have to?
So the kind of rule of thumb is if you have built a robot strictly according to building instructions, and all the referees know exactly what's out there. Okay, If you've only built a robot to building instructions, you cannot go past developing. So you'll get a 2. All right. If, however, you have a driver base and you have designed your own attachments, okay, then it pushes you over the 2. So then you go more towards a 3. But if you only have the attachments, I think also important, if the judges ask who designed this robot and you say it's our design, that is not okay. You need to say we built it from building instructions.
Yeah.
Or we built it from building instructions, but then we found that this attachment was too big and that attachment was too small, and then we changed it like this, and then we modified it like that. You cannot have a single axle and say, well, we designed this attachment. A single axle is kind of not an attachment. There's no design in that. All right.
Yeah.
And the judges are really kind, very kind.
I can maybe come in on this spot, maybe.
I was going to say, but Casper's going to tell me something else, because Casper and Clifford Walls are usually the technical referees. Yes, Casper.
Yeah, usually I go through the one way I usually go through the list. And I see the first few questions are on the strategy part, and did they work as a team or not? On a robot, you can see, all right, they used some of the teams, you can see they were just given a design and they didn't know how to use that design or how to use the robot in the specific way. So the thing is, it depends on a case-by-case basis and what kind of competition it is also. But usually you can see, all right, the planning of the set and the one, okay, I'm quickly going to skip that part, but it's literally, you also see not just on attachments, your own attachments, but also on the sensors. Because some of the teams, they forget to use the sensors, or they decide, all right, we did try, but it didn't work in the following ways. We did try using it so many times, and by explaining that to the judge, he understands, all right, you have improved from number 1 to number 2. And sometimes the one thing that I want to say almost for regionals, some of the teams, if they just take a photo of the robot when they start, and then you take and you see how the robot looks now, you see the progress. And sometimes also with the coding, also they want to see how they improved with their coding skills. Because if we don't see, if we don't see that progress, sometimes we cannot mark them on some of these.
Okay.
On some of these, because even some experienced teams, they even don't do it, and then they lose marks on the judging sheets because of that.
Correct. Yeah, and just also, Casper, in terms of programming, if you're not using sensors, you need to be able to justify why you're not using sensors. What we also don't want is sensors on the robot that are not attached with wires, because then that is just defeating the object. Another thing, if we've got multiple teams from a single school where all the teams have got exactly the same robot, then you wonder where the learners actually had the opportunities for innovation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That gives me some good insight.
Yeah, so what we're asking all our grant holder teams, so no grant holder teams who are now playing second round. If you've played Cargo Connect and you're now doing Superpowered, you need to move off Riley Rover. So if this is your second competition, you need to move off Riley Rover. You need to push the boundaries a little bit with the team. Yeah. We've got my carrot in the end is the Africa Open Championships in 2025. And if we want to get to world class in 2025, we need to start pushing the teams to get out of their comfort zone and to try out other designs and to be innovative on their own designs. Yeah. Okay. All right. Are we good? Are we good? All right. Casper, you want to add a last thing quickly before we close the session?
So yeah, like I said, with the rubrics of the technical judging, it's just evidence to see if they did learn something as a team. Did they work as a team? Did they strategize or not? that have an effective plan or not.
Mm.
And yeah, on this part here, just quickly do this, the following. There we go. If we go here, on this part here, the one we were talking about the attachments. Yeah. So we do explain the robots. So they have to explain what the code is and how the code makes the robot act, and the specific things that they created themselves. So this part here, the design. And then also, yeah, the detailed explanation or not. Sometimes they forget not to explain everything. And when they don't explain it, then the judges are left wondering what was this now about, or do they know what they've built or not? Yeah. And like I said, how the code makes the robot act. So just a small explanation of one of the missions will even help. Just explain to him how you go forward, then turn right and left and then come back. Something like that, it will work also.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, here. This is the one about if that sometimes gets problematic when they use design. We can only use the developing on this one. We can't go to design process.
Exactly.
But it's still a good mark for 2, definitely.
But at the core, our judges are nice people. Hey, Casper.
Yeah, I always try. The one team I did see, I can even take one of the teams as an example. You can see that in the strategize, we didn't even ask them that question because we knew it would completely derail their train of thought almost. That's the easiest way of saying it.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's all from my side.
Awesome. All right. So thank you for the really cool discussions. Thank you for the questions. Yeah, we're going to get there. So this is the end of Unit 4. We've got like 3 minutes to go and get some coffee quickly, and then we will hear what Tanya has to share with us in the next session. All right. Thank you, and hope to see you all at the competition. Yes, it's going to be fun. All right. Thank you, Casper.